Yo, what is up everyone? This is OJ over here from PlayerEssence and welcome to another PE Nintendo / news video. We've got a bunch of great information for you guys in addition to a little bit of a rant, or more I should just say a talking point at the end, so make sure you stay tuned to the end to hear that. But let's go ahead and get right into the news, and we're starting off big with Dragon Quest XI scans show the Ishii Village battles and more. So the latest issue of Weekly Jump has a 2-page feature on Dragon Quest XI in Search of the Departed Time. That's the full name. Most of the information in the magazine are details that we've already heard about from the Jump Fiesta 2017, but here are some new additional bits of awesome RPGness. The protagonist has a strangely shaped birthmark on his left hand. Something happens when it glows. Emma is a close friend of the protagonist who says she'll undergo the ritual to climb, quotations, God's rock with him. The magazine asks, what is it that they see there? The great tree of life floats in the center of the world. It is said the hero can commune with the soul of the great tree. The magazine has a number of PlayStation 4 versus Nintendo 3DS comparison screenshots, including the protagonist's home village of Ishii in the middle of the second page. It's a small and quiet village located in the valley. There's a look at the battle system on the lower right hand of the second page. The PlayStation 4 version sees both party and the series' familiar monsters fully realized. The 3DS version shows the party and the monsters in 3D mode and just the monsters in 2D mode. So if you've missed it, there's more information that you can check out in the description below as far as what they've showed off on this game. It's gearing up for a mid-2017 launch, maybe a little bit before then, but all we know officially is a 2017 launch. There is also a Nintendo Switch version that's in development, but they have not talked about that. I'm guessing that's going to get a big reveal at the January Nintendo Switch release when it comes to talking about that version of the game. Overall, I'm super excited to hear anything about Dragon Quest XI. This looks like it's going to be a return to form after the MMO Dragon Quest X basically was MIA in North America and in Europe. I'm pretty sure this one's going to return back to the States so we can play this, since it is not an MMO and is more of a traditional RPG like they're releasing on the Nintendo 3DS, the Dragon Quest re-releases, and all the Dragon Quest games before that. So I'm really looking forward to playing this game more. It looks really interesting, has some fantastic graphics, whether you're playing on the Nintendo 3DS or playing on the PS4, and I think it's generally going to be an amazing experience. Alright, moving on here, Nintendo has confirmed 40 million downloads of Super Mario Run in just 4 days. So Nintendo of Japan has revealed pretty much what everyone was expecting, that Super Mario Run on iOS is a mega hit. The company has said that the game was downloaded more than 40 million times in just 4 days. This is really impressive, guys. This is something that's actually beat out Pokemon Go. And Super Mario Run also set a record for the App Store. It's doing very well. There's been some concern among other places about how they're not monetizing correctly. Obviously, you have to be connected to online. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo's going to make some adjustments going forward with their smartphone games. But in my opinion, they've got a really nice game here that gives you your money's worth for the most part when it comes to replay value, when it comes to polish. The game is fun. So generally speaking, if you're a gamer, if you're more of a core gamer, there's nothing wrong with this type of game. The whole always online is a little bit of an issue, especially if you're on like your morning commute, you're just trying to play, you don't have Wi-Fi, you don't have your data plan hooked up, or you're not trying to use data on that. It can definitely be a problem, but it is what it is. People are still downloading it. You can play it when you're at home, I guess. All right, moving on to the next bit of information that we have, and this one's really interesting, and please make sure you check out Spawn Wave if you want to hear more of the technical side of this as far as what this means. I'm just going to be giving you a basic breakdown as far as this WQHD that a famous Japanese analyst, Ace Yasuda, is talking about, which was relayed by Takahashi Mochizuki from the Wall Street Journal. So Nintendo Switch reveal is getting closer and closer, and Ace Research Institute analyst Yasuda believes that the system will be wide quad high definition and that the internal bus speed will be 5 gigabytes per second. It's also likely that the VR patent that surfaced online a few days is just a patent and it's not something that Nintendo's going to be using at launch. So here is what Takahashi Mochizuki had to say on the matter. Nintendo Switch's resolution not likely 1080p to 720p, and that is docked compared to undocked, but WQHD to 1080. VR is just a patent purpose not likely to be used. Ace Research Institute analyst Yasuda, Nintendo Switch uses DisplayPort USB-C internal bus speed at 5 gigabytes faster than the 3DS's 128 megabytes per second, so a lot faster. And lastly here, he says, once again, this is something that he's talked about again, the patent filings show that Nintendo Switch's architecture is good for open world games, and that's the end, he says. So I do want to talk about a little bit of this, guys. Apparently this WQHD is basically like a 440p, which is a better resolution than 1080p. Like I said, I'm not going to get too much into all of that stuff there, but if you want to hear more about it, make sure you check out the link in the description below, Spawn Wave. He talked about that a little bit more, but I am going to talk about some of these other things. So the USB-C, that's very interesting because that has been linked to a lot of different things, and especially a supplemental computing device that could come in the future for fast transfer in addition to external GPU power or processing power that can be added to the Nintendo Switch at a later time, or heck, maybe even at launch. Who knows? But I guess that's not likely at this point if we haven't heard some rumblings from developers about that. But either way, it's still interesting as far as a future product for Nintendo. And on top of this is something that we've also heard as well before, whereas the Switch is going to be good for open world games because of the type of architecture it has and as far as what that system can do. And I think that would definitely suit Nintendo this time, because if you looked at what Nintendo did in the past with Xenoblade Chronicles X and with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild just taking so long, I do think that there was technical hurdles that were really bad for them as far as Nintendo trying to develop on the Wii U when it comes to massive open world games, big RPGs, and I think that's kind of why you didn't see that too much on the Wii U. You just saw a lot of different types of games. You didn't get a lot of massive RPGs. You didn't get those. I'm not sure if the architecture was really built for that. But with the Nintendo Switch, right off the back, you're getting big open world games such as The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, potentially a Xenoblade Chronicles X port, in addition to the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Lego City is also going to be another port that's coming, and I'm pretty sure the loading times aren't going to be anywhere near as horrendous as they were on the Wii U. I do feel that we need to have a wait and see approach. Let's see the games, let's see how they run, let's actually get to play the games, and then from there you can form any type of opinion that you want to form on whether it comes to power, whether it comes to how they play, or comparing it to other systems. It'll be all right there for us for actually to see and experience ourselves. And then before you know it, it will be March and we'll be ready to rock with the Nintendo Switch when it comes to gameplay. Alright, and moving on here, I'm going to talk about something pretty much at the end here. And this is something that I want to just get off my chest because I just find it funny that you have grown men that are very emotional over the internet. And look, everyone gets emotional here and there when it comes to video games, right? This is our favorite hobby. This is something that we love to do, that we invest into, that we watch. Some of us have businesses surrounding it, and I understand you get emotional about things. You want to sit there, you want to attack people, you want to go after people, but let me just say this right now. What any of us says when it comes to me or anyone else out there, whether it's Super Metal Dave or Spawn Wave or any various YouTubers out there or anything, that has no impact on how Nintendo makes decisions for the most part when it comes to their hardware, when it comes to what they want to put into these systems. I've heard people say, oh, well, you're the reason why I hate something, or you're the reason why that Nintendo does certain things. Nintendo doesn't give a damn about me, okay? And they don't care what I say. They're nice enough to give me review codes, but they don't care what I think or what I say, all right? And they're sure as hell not listening for the most part. I just campaigned and went to enough E3s and qualified to where they'll give me a review code, and that's it. That's about Nintendo's extension or relationship with me. They don't care. All they look at the end of the day is sales. Sales, sales, sales. When it comes to the Nintendo Switch, however you feel about their power, however you feel about what they're doing with the system, it had nothing to do with fanboys. It had nothing to do with anybody talking, okay? They made the system the way it was based on developer feedback, okay? And based on what they wanted to do. Emily Rogers had a fantastic article where she talked to many of Nintendo's most loyal developers, from Shinin to Jules Watcham to many people, and many of them said they would love a shared type of architecture or a shared type of device to where they don't have to create games on one system and another system, okay? Developers were saying that to them. The type of power and what they put into the system is on them. It's not because of anyone else. It's on them. They look at it from a cost-effective standpoint and what's best for them. Plain and simple. So I find it funny when I hear people coming to my channel or other videos and you have people saying it's this person's fault and that person's fault. No, the sales of the Wii U, any smart business, anyone is looking at it and saying, yeah, we're not going to listen to what those people have to say. The Wii U only sold 13.6 million units worldwide. Nintendo isn't listening to all those people and continuing to make decisions based on such a small fan base that the Wii U had. They're looking at the 3DS sales and they say, this device, portable device that we know that we dominate in for the most part, sold 61 million units plus. This device, our console, not so well. We made a lot of mistakes in that area. What can we do going forward? They made the decision to make the system what it is from a cost-effective standpoint and from what developers wanted and from a technical standpoint. That's what they did, and none of us had an effect on that. The trash sales of the Wii U and the great sales of the 3DS, in addition to developers talking to what they wanted, all the developers, not just major third parties who want the strongest piece of hardware that they can have, but the smaller indie developers who develop on portable and on console. Everyone, they took input from everyone, and you can see that with the Nintendo Switch. It has some console level power, but it's also portable. They went with Nvidia, they make top of the line graphics cards for PCs, and this Nintendo Switch is going to have that similar architecture for that. We're hearing things about developers saying that it's easy to develop on. Guys like Bethesda have completely changed their tune when it comes to Nintendo, at least initially at launch. They bashed the Wii U for the system, but with the Nintendo Switch, much more positive, so they're doing something right in that regards. So guys, please, can we stop with this childish name calling and back and forth, acting like people, YouTubers, that aren't even super popular, and people in comment sections, and the small tiny fan base of the Wii U, whether you want to call them fanboys or not, has anything to do with anything, because they don't, okay? It's just people trying to get a rise out of others and trying to point blame. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for more news, reviews, trailers, tips and tricks, and everything in gaming. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.